Elevation of consciousness, masculine and feminine energies. Each of the human beings contain the masculine and feminine characteristics in their essence. You can see in the chauvinist the predominant masculine characteristics over the feminine ones, as in the feminists, the feminine characteristics are the ones that dominate. None of these aspects refers to the sexual preferences of the person, although that is the general belief. One of the aspects of the elevation of consciousness can be defined as the balance between masculine and feminine characteristics, where neither of the parts predominates over the other. The universe works simply because it is in equilibrium, there is balance. We can think at some point that everything is wrong looking at it from our personal point of view, but it is clear that for another person the same thing can mean the opposite. In truth, neither of the two parts is right. They are simply stating a personal perspective of reality. Everything is energy, and for things to exist in harmony there must be a balance between both parts. On the one side the light, and on the other one darkness. If at some point one of the sides surpasses the other one, then a crisis occur, which is nothing more than a process to balance the imbalance. We permanently navigate within these cycles that tends to bring everything to the neutral point of balance. When one seeks the development of consciousness, this can be reached only at the personal level. The sum of levels of consciousness can lead to an increase in group's consciousness, but that is only a consequence of the sum of the parts. We can see our development of consciousness as a pendulum on a grandfather's clock. The pendulum is constantly swinging from one side to the other. This is a good representation of our development of consciousness, where we constantly navigate between different currents that take us from one side to the other, which we express with different emotions. Usually external things move us to one side or the other, like in the movement of the pendulum. How much greater the oscillation between one state and the other, will reflect our evolutionary state. As we work on ourselves, with the technique that best serves us, the movement of the pendulum will lose speed and will be closer and closer to the vertical point of no movement. The closer we get to that point, the less we will be exposed to the vicissitudes of outside events. This is because the further our pendulum is from its center point, the more vulnerable we are to our environment. What happens in our environment could take us precipitously to the other extreme, in an effort to compensate the imbalance. For us is manifested in sudden changes in moods. The closer we are to our internal balance, the closer we'll be to have even ratio between our masculine and feminine energies. Those who wield fanaticism for any position can be identified to be in some edge of the pendulum movement. That position eventually will lead to a sharp turn to the other extreme. This movement is what determines the evolutionary degree of the person. In the particular case of expressing extremism or fanaticism, talks about a person that still has a long way to go in its evolutionary process. We have mentioned it in previous articles. Moments of great euphoria are followed by moments of great hardship. This is because we simply cannot live in constant euphoria, just as we cannot constantly live in hardship. Something is going to happen that will make us change our state, regardless of whoever we are. This is precisely what we were trying to show with the movement of the pendulum. Astrology very well states the energy of each planet. There are the planets of expansion and restriction. Those of gradual change and those of sudden changes. Those with feminine energy and masculine energy. Everything is there. This ancient wisdom, which is often misinterpreted, tells us about the cycles that we go through in life, which give us the possibility to work in order to balance our energies. To the extent that we evolve and slow down the movement of our emotional pendulum, the less effect we will manifest with the transits, both positive and negative. It is not about being always happy, it is only about feeling good, with integrity and in balance. In order to achieve this, We have to start by putting aside any belief that take us to any extreme, whatever that may be. Extremes only makes us take our pendulum of evolution to a place very far from the center, and the further we are from our center, we can expect something to happen trying to bring us back into reason or balance. Astrology is a good tool that can help us control our pendulum movement.